Hello friends and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host Tom Downey. On today's show, we're taking a look at some possible draft targets for the Cowboys at the safety position. That is certainly a big need for the Dallas Cowboys, and as we've said hundreds of times before, it's been that way for a while. Now, we'll break down some targets here, 6 in total. But the Cowboys have just 2 safeties under contract for the 2020 season. I still believe Xavier Woods is a starting caliber player. I think he was that last year. So I'm looking for someone to help him out. He was free safety for the Cowboys. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But Jeff Heath's a free agent. He's more of a backup anyway. Kevon Frazier, Darian Thompson, meh. Donovan Wilson could maybe be a piece, but he didn't really play this past year. So I cannot operate under the assumption that he's going to be a guy next year. You can give him a chance, but I think in a good safety class at the top for safeties, draft class for safeties, the Cowboys should explore that option. So we'll begin with the number 1 guy that's been most connected to the Dallas Cowboys. That's Grant Delpit, the LSU safety. And we also have to be aware of the reality here for Grant Delpit. He simply was not as good in the year 2019 as he was in 2018. There are some major concerns around him. Yes, he is a good athlete. He can cover. He can do all the things you want out of a premier safety. He can play single high. He can play in the box. He can cover tight ends. You can get about him in zone. You can get about him against receivers as well. But the big red flag for Delpit is the tackling. It was not good this year, and frankly, wasn't that good in 2018 either. He missed something ridiculous, around 25% of his tackle attempts this year. That's horrible. And the year before that, it was still around 20%. Now, the ankle injury, the shoulder problem that I think he dealt with this year, that's certainly a factor in this. But as talented and as high of upside Grant Delpit has, the tackling for me is a huge red flag. Now, he is good in coverage, don't get me wrong on that. He can do, like I said, so many different things for you. But that tackling issue, even if it was medically driven, you got to figure that out. I can't have a safety who misses so many tackles, be it in the box or at the free safety position. Now, Delpit's just one of 6. We got 5 more, So what safety do you want the Cowboys to draft? Factor in where they're going to be taken, what the value is of that particular pick. I will make this the pinned comment of this video. So if you get an ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down there. You can cast your votes at the pinned comment. Next up is Xavier McKinney. Now, McKinney has kind of had a little bit more buzz as of late about possibly being a better option for the Cowboys and even potentially a safety number 1. He played a whole bunch of different roles for Alabama. Funny enough, he kind of almost played an equal third in the box, in the slot, and back deep. It was almost a nice even third split right there. Now, McKinney, I don't believe has the same upside as Grant Delpit. I don't believe that McKinney is going to be the most likely Pro Bowl safety of this group. Not saying he can't be, but I think Delpit's upside's higher. But I also think McKinney is going to be a good NFL player because of his versatility, because of his reliability, and the fact that, yes, he can make plays on the football too. I have a trickier time seeing McKinney being a bust. I see an easier path to being a bust there for Grant Delpit. Bama loved him against tight ends. That is something I am looking for in the Cowboys. Now, we'll see exactly what type of scheme they end up running, but I do think you need a tight end stopper, if only for man. Now, the one big concern I have for McKinney in my notes here as I look through them, at times he kind of gets turned around when he's in off coverage, not playing super close, mostly against slot receivers. So I have some concerns about him in space in that regard. But in zone, I thought he was fine. Against tight ends, I thought he was fine. That's a good sign there. You see the Delpit versus McKinney debate right there. It's a good one to have. And entering the year, I was firmly in the camp of Grant Delpit being the better safety. I already typed in my D. I had him as an early first-round pick. I thought he could be a top 5, top 10 guy. That's not the case. Frankly, I think both of these guys will be there for the Cowboys at number 17 as we sit right now, but it's a much closer gap now. I'm still typing in my D, but if you type in your M for McKinney, I get it. I think it's really close. Next up is Ashtyn Davis. This is a different player than Delpit and McKinney, who I think can play a little bit of both, but especially McKinney. Ashtyn Davis, to me, is a classic free safety. This, folks, was a track star coming out and really went to Cal to run track. He is a former walk-on the football team. He was an All-American hurdler at the Pac-12. That's what Davis's background is. he has the juice to be a single high guy. But as a former walk-on, not a huge surprise here, there is still some development left to be done with Ashtyn Davis. Yes, he can fly. His angles aren't always the best, though, but speed will make up for that, and in theory, you're going to have better learning in terms of what angles to take and better awareness as he gets more developed and advanced in the NFL. I don't love him in the box, though, and that's my concern as it relates to the Dallas Cowboys. Delpit and McKinney, they work with Xavier Woods. But if you take Davis, I think you got to play him at free safety, and then it becomes, do you want to move Xavier Woods down to strong safety? That's not the worst idea, and if you play more, quarters this year on your defense, which is your corners and both safeties are actually still in mostly deep coverage, that makes some sense. But as a pure box, I don't love that idea. So when it comes down to type of safety, which is a factor, you got to figure out a good fit for the Cowboys, what safety should Dallas pick? Type FS for free safety, SS for strong safety, or E for either. You don't care which route they go. If you had asked me this in the middle of this year, in say October, I said, I'm looking for a strong safety. At this point, though, I got to find playmakers back there. I need players who can take the ball away. So I'm going to go with either Xavier Woods can play some strong safety. He can play in the box, and if you're on the correct type of scheme, you can have both guys playing deep at times and one guy in the box and rotate that. So I actually lean more towards either, as weird as that might sound, for the Dallas Cowboys. It is almost Valentine's Day. So seriously, guys, you are almost out of time. So if you have not already, go to Pro Flowers. Save 15% off flowers and gifts at chatsports.com/flowers. One more time, it is chatsports.com/flowers. That is not just flowers, but gifts as well, like that cookie bundle right there on screen. Check the description. Check the comments. I've got the link in there for you guys to save you time and also some money with 15% off at Pro Flowers. Next up is one of my personal favorites, which you guys know if you watched one of our earlier season mock drafts. Antoine Winfield Jr. Yeah, his daddy is his daddy is the Viking star. He's the son of that guy. He was simply a playmaker throughout his career at Minnesota. Not just, by the way, as a defensive back, he had some good returns as well. The playmaking is what I love about Antoine Winfield. 7 interceptions this past year, and they weren't like, oh, the ball's in my hands. There were some pretty awesome jump ball plays and awesome interceptions by Antoine Winfield, who has played both deep and in the box. He's been nickel corner as well. He can do a little bit of everything for you. My favorite note here, because he kind of tackles like his dad too. He is undersized, 5'10", 205 he's listed at. Might be under 200 pounds, frankly, but he's got a good build on that undersized frame, if that makes sense to you guys. But he doesn't play undersized. He goes up and competes at the catch point. He tackles really hard. He plays like his dad at safety. Like that's Antoine Winfield Jr. That's no real, surprise on that one. Great ball skills there. The reason why I think he goes on day 2. The size, that's a big factor there. There are some significant medical red flags here. Hamstring injury in 2017, a torn foot ligament back in 2018. He does not have burning speed, but he's a smart football player. He knows where the ball is going to go. That makes up for it. He's not slow, but he's not an Ashtyn Davis type burner. So do you want to take a safety in round 1? The more I get in depth on the safety class, I actually vote no. I say go focus on corner, go focus on the defensive line. Come back to me in round 2 when I've got Antoine Winfield, or maybe the next guy on our list also as an option at the safety spot beyond the first round. At players, Kyle Dugger, the safety out of Lenore-Rhine, a special athlete, I believe, because you don't normally find players of Kyle Dugger's size, about 6'1", 217 pounds, just under 220, who not only are great strong safeties, but can play some free if you had to, but will probably be a strong safety in the NFL, but are that size and are also the team's best return man. Those guys aren't easy to find. He is truly a running back, a great running back caliber athlete playing at safety. That's awesome. Now, Dugger, I thought he impressed at the Senior Bowl. Freaky athlete. The production's great. 2019, the numbers might be down. Missed a good portion of the year. Played in only 7 games. which is crazy because he still won the Cliff Harris Award for the best defensive player in D2 in the NCAA. He's a fantastic player. Dugger's ability is nothing short of impressive. As a day 2 pick, he falls because the competition level is so steep. I think it's a fantastic addition for the Dallas Cowboys if he's there in round 2. Now, there are other players that make sense. We're not discussing right now, only 6. Both Utah players, I've not yet watched Burgess. I think he will replace the next guy on the list as a higher-ranked safety for me. Jeremy Chin is kind of Kyle Dugger light, small school guy, big build, good athlete, but might be more of a linebacker or a strong safety. J.R. Reed out of Georgia is a nice player, and I like Antoine Brooks Jr. too. By the way, for those of you wondering about Isaiah Simmons, give up the dream. He ain't falling to 17. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. So I'd love it, but there's just no way. Now, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. If you want to bet on, how about the XFL? How about the NBA? How about college basketball? Baseball's coming up soon, too. Do it on BetDSI. It's chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120. I kind of feel bad if I didn't put at least one Texas player on this list. So let's talk about Brandon Jones then, who I like, but not in the same caliber as my previous top 5 guys. Now, he likes to hit. He is a strong safety. That is what Brandon Jones, I believe, will be in the NFL. Frankly, put out a couple pounds on him, he could play the nickel linebacker role too, which I'll make note, isn't actually a need for the Cowboys. You have Jalen Smith, you have Leighton Vander Esch. I don't think nickel linebacker is as impactful or as valuable to the way this Cowboys roster is constructed. Now, he had a better year this year in terms of ball skills. 4 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. That basically doubled the 3 previous years. He was better this year. Ball skills are not Brandon Jones' strength. That's okay. He doesn't mind hitting. He should be better in that area, though, because he's got a nice long wingspan. He just doesn't get his head around for the football. Has done that far too often, which I know has burned the Cowboys before. I think he can be a tight end stopper, but probably not in year 1. Needs some more development in that area. I like him as a backup year 1, developmental guy year 2, but I'm looking for a starter in year 1. So to recap my draft targets here, and I kind of went more in order of what they might go come draft day. Delpit and McKinney, the top 2. Ashtyn Davis, the speedy free safety. 2 of my preferred targets when you factor in value, Antoine Winfield and Kyle Dugger. Give me either of those guys in the draft. I'll be super happy. Oh, by the way, one last note on Winfield. I believe we've figured out the Cowboys draft Twitter safety that they want and aren't going to get. I am included among that. Going to be Antoine Winfield. And then finally, Brandon Jones out of Texas. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.